Robert is 5 years old and he has a chromosomal abnormality. He has a lot of special traits. He's very joyful, loves to be outside. He's taking it all in right now.
The world is a playground, so the saying goes. But for those living with disabilities, playgrounds can be a reminder of how hard it is to navigate the world around them. Luckily for Robert, there are a growing number of places created with kids like him in mind. Of course, that hasn't always been the case. Natalie Mackey created Unlimited Play, an organization that helps create accessible playgrounds that allow kids to just be kids.
These playgrounds are necessary not only for children, right, with autism and mobility impairments, visual impairments, hearing impairments. There's so many reasons, but also adults. I chose the vehicle of playgrounds to teach kids the power of playing together, including everyone. And as adults, when you're saying adults watching, we still need to learn all of that ourselves.
With over 100 playgrounds across the United States and Canada, most playgrounds are named after a child with a story about how meaningful it would be to have an accessible playground in their community. The very first playground was named after Natalie's motivation for starting Unlimited Play.
I started because of my son, Zachary. He had a disease that required he used a wheelchair. Everything that most of us do so easily, my son struggled to do. And I decided the one thing I could give back was his chance to play, to just be a kid. I started by calling 5 cities in St. Charles County, where I live. I naively said I have a background in fundraising, and I'd like to build a playground where my son can play. It took us 4 years to raise $750,000, and we opened Zachary's Playground April 21st, 2007. My favorite moment, Zach went wheeling through the red ribbon, and he said, "Mom, I'm going that way, and you go that way." It wasn't an option for him, right, to typically just wheel off and play with his friends.
Now you can go fast.
Here we go. It's hard to describe unless you've lived a life where your son is often left out, how much that meant to me and so many other families. That day I was asked if I would continue, and I said absolutely not.
But of course she did. Despite the years of hard work it took to get Zachary's Playground, the overwhelmingly positive response from families who needed the same sort of space motivated her to grow the organization. After all, when it comes to child's health and development, play is serious business. There are numerous reports showing that playing with both parents and peers is essential for a child to thrive physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially. But for children with disabilities, much of their time is spent in and out of appointments and therapies, making their limited time for play that much more valuable.
You know, after making phone calls and going through red tape, it's nice to just come here and just be here and play and relax and be together. And it eliminates a lot of those boundaries that we come across, whether it is trying to get services or equipment, or like here, we're able to relax and have that freedom to be together.
I had a bad back surgery and I also got hurt at work. It allows me just to let him do his thing, and these different pieces of equipment here are not just helpful for him, but they're also helpful for me.
As necessary as these playgrounds are for kids with special needs and their caregivers, it's also important for kids without disabilities to understand the value of inclusion.
I think it's very important for children to be exposed to children like Robert and get to know them and understand them a little bit, and him to also get that social feedback from typical peers. So it's like a harmonious place where it all just kind of happens together very naturally.
Playing with other kids, whether they be kids like him or atypical kids, just letting him be a kid is the most important thing to me.
My son lost his life almost 3 years ago. And I heard from people I'd never met about the power of the playgrounds for their family. But one man stood out the most, and he said that his wife and son went to Zachary's playground. And he said that his wife came home in tears, saying how much it meant. And he said, "Natalie, do you know what I did? It meant so much to my family, I sold my house, and we moved right next door to your family." And for me, my son's legacy continues.
For Living St. Louis, I'm Brooke Butler.